Hello, everybody, and welcome back. My name is Ralph Beltran, sales mentor with Become Your Best Consulting. As a sales coach, one of the most talked about topics recently is in regards to follow-up strategies. What could I do to regain traction back from a customer that's just not communicating with me anymore? What could I do in regards to a customer just ghosting me? There's no more communication at all. So what I did is I put together this short video in regards to some of the sales strategies, tactics that you could use and implement it in your system in order to regain this traction back. So let's get started here. I want to start off talking about some stats here, and this is found on Google. And I'm sure you've seen this on other social platforms. I'm not the only one that's using these stats here. It's on Google, so take a look at it. So let's get started about talking about the percentages here. They say that 48% of salespeople never follow up with the prospect at all. 48%, that's almost half of salespeople, never follow up with the prospect. Then 25% of salespeople make a second call and then they stop. 12% of salespeople only make 3 contacts and then they give up. And then here, the lowest number is that 10% of salespeople only make more than 3 contacts. So it's 3 calls, a call, no answer, a call, no answer, a call, a voice message, and then they give up. That's it. So 3 calls, that's it. Remember that 3 calls is the max. 2% of sales are made on the first contact. 3% of sales are made on the second contact. Then 5% are made on the third contact. And then we got 10% on the fourth contact. And then if we look at the bottom here, it's astonishing numbers here. 80% of sales, 80% of sales are made on the 5th to 12th contact. So after 12 times, you reach to contact the customer for the very first time. We're not talking pitching any type of product or service. We're not talking about even going over a pitch. We're just talking about reaching them. Now trying to schedule an appointment with them to go and see them, or a virtual appointment. So once again, it takes 12 contacts. So let's look at these numbers and talk about it as a whole here. For sales professionals, if you love to make calls, if you love to pick up that phone and dial, 80% of the business is out there waiting for you if you can make more than 12 dials. The percentages are there. If you're a sales professional and you're the other side of these numbers, only making 3 calls, with a little bit of practice, repetition, some sales training on cold calling and follow-up strategies, could help you get to this bottom number and compete for 80% of the business out there. So these numbers are huge. There's a huge problem with these numbers when most salespeople are not even making more than 3 calls, but it takes 12 calls to reach a customer, prospect, or a lead. Think about those numbers. Take a screenshot of these sales stats here, place it on your computer, put it on your wall, and remember these numbers. If you could master the cold call, master the follow-up call, you could compete for 80% of the business down there. And there's not many people down there competing for it. So let's get started here with some of the strategies that I put together for you all. So persistence is the number 1 key to follow-up success here. Persistence and repetition here. They say it takes 5 to 8 calls to even reach a customer for the very first time. We talked about that. That's just reaching them, trying to even schedule an appointment with them. No product, service, no pitch, or nothing like that. So this is going to take practice. This is going to take repetition and persistence in order to reach these leads, these contacts, these customers. Get comfortable making the call. Get comfortable picking up the phone and making that dial and making that call. It takes 8 to 12 calls. It's a must that you pick up that phone and dial. Okay, I'm going to give you a strategy here that I use, and it's called the 4-phase follow-up strategy. What it is, you pick up the phone and you make that call with the customer, and if they don't answer, you leave a voice message. The second thing you do is you send them an email following up, just letting them know that you left them a voice message. The third thing would be is to send them a direct message. With the emergence of social platforms, direct message is huge. Let me repeat that. Direct message is huge. You're able to contact the customer directly on any social platform that you use. Direct message. The fourth is text. Text is becoming more and more common now to communicate with customers, and they prefer text now. You text them, they text you back. That's their preference, right? You need to find the customer's preference. You need to find the prospect's preference. The only way to do this here is to try multiple forms of communication by doing this here. Try cell, email, direct message, text. Once you find the customer's preference of communication, stick with that preference. Don't veer off of it. If the customer likes to communicate via text, don't send them an email. They prefer, you may not even get an email back. They prefer text. Once again, they text you back. So stick with that preference of communication. When following up here, you must be clear and to the point on your objective and the reason for the call or the visit. You always must have a reason. Do not try to wing it. Please do not try to wing it. Don't just try to go to customer site and just start splurring out things on the reason why you're there. Or just call a list and contact them, get them on the call, and then just start splurring out your products, features, and benefits and everything else when you just barely first talk to them for the very first time. Please do not do that. So once again, have a reason why. And the way it starts is the reason for my call is I'm following up on my proposal I sent. The reason for my visit is I was following up on my proposal that I sent last month. Once again, have a reason, have an objection on the reason why you're calling. So let's move forward here. Let's talk about just how long it could take for you to reach this customer. They talked about these numbers of 8 to 12 contacts to even reach a customer. But let's talk long-term here. It could take weeks. It could take months. It could even take years for you to build a customer relationship, build rapport with the customer, and even get them on your calendar for the very first time. So once again, it could take weeks, months, and years. So practice, repetition, persistence is key when making follow-up calls, when following up with customers. Any type of follow-up requires for you to have these three, once again, practice, repetition, and persistence, right? So those things you must have when doing follow-up. So let's talk about using a follow-up calendar, a schedule, right? You must have something on paper. You must have something on your computer. You could have it on your computer, have it paper. Either way is fine, but you must have it documented how many times you're going to contact your prospect and your customers. Have a schedule. That way you're always on track and you're always staying in front of your prospect, customer, or lead. Once again, have a schedule. Have it always laid out on your follow-up to make sure that you're doing, number one, first, making the follow-up. Two, to always keep on track. I'm going to teach you something here that I've taught some of my students that I've mentored in regards to circling back. It's called the circling back email. And this is how it goes. Hello, John. I'm circling back on the proposal I sent you on January 21st. I just want to make sure you don't have any, that first, you received it. Two, if you have any questions or concerns. Once again, hello, John. My name is Ralph. I'm circling back on the proposal that I sent you on January 21st. I just want to make sure, one, that you received it. Two, if you have any questions or concerns. This could also be done on a site visit. Once again, what this will do here with the circling back, it will get the prospect, customer, or lead to remember back and circle in their mind to the last interaction on January 21st. What happened on January 21st? Let me check my email. Let me check my files. Let me look back. This is what you want here. You want them circling back to your previous conversation, interaction. This is the best situation for you. So once again, circling back. Give it a try, everyone. So once again, my name is Ralph Beltran, sales mentor with Become Your Best Consulting. I really hope you learned something here, and look for us on becomeyourbestconsulting.com, and we have many other trainings available, free trainings on YouTube in regards to strategies, processes, and systems that you could use like this to follow up with customers, use for prospecting, getting rid of the fear of cold call. So once again, if you have any questions and you want to reach out to me, message me. I'm always available. Once again, Ralph Beltran, sales mentor with Become Your Best Consulting. Thank you for watching, and bye.